The scene opens in the middle of the chaos with a shadowy figure holding a knife closing in on Zach. He struggles to free himself, but as the figure steps closer, it's revealed to be Sonia. Zach immediately turns on her, accusing her of being the killer and claiming she deliberately turned the rest of the group against him. Sonia is clearly shaken by the accusation, especially since Zach expects her trust while never revealing that he was a DEA agent. Zach defends his secrecy by explaining that given Sonia's past, her former partner's overdose and her involvement in selling narcotics, she was the last person he felt safe confiding in about the investigation. Zach goes on to argue that if Sonia isn't the killer, then whoever is responsible wasn't originally armed or fully prepared to murder anyone. He believes the plan fell apart when the plane crashed, forcing the killer to improvise and eliminate them one by one. Now, he warns, that person could be adapting again. Despite everything, Sonia still holds on to a sliver of trust. She decides to untie Zach so they can watch each other and figure out whether there's someone else out there they haven't accounted for. As she frees him, she issues a final warning. If she ever encounters him again under suspicious circumstances, she won't hesitate to kill him. By morning, Kevin is visibly on edge after learning that Zach has escaped, convinced that he could come back for them at any moment. Sonia tries to reassure the group, explaining that now the transmitter is working, a search party should reach them within hours. Even so, the group decides to split up. Amy and Dan pair off together, despite Sonia warning that separating is a bad idea. Kevin, noticing that the ropes had been cut, chooses to head off on his own, wanting distance from everyone. That decision leaves Sonia completely alone at the camp. Welcome back to Sandy's Timeline. Today we're breaking down episode 5 of the series 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. As always, here's your trigger warning, and don't forget to subscribe for more recaps like this. The scene then shifts to Mexican authorities, who finally receive a signal from the emergency transmitter, raising hope that rescue may be possible. However, heavy cloud cover makes it difficult for aircraft to visually locate the crash site, delaying any immediate help. Back in the jungle, distrust has completely fractured the group. Dan and Amy decide to stick together and break away from the others, believing it gives them the best chance to survive and possibly reach the transmitter. Later, Zach, Sonia, and Kevin discover them near a pond. Both Dan and Amy have been brutally stabbed and are dying, victims of the same mysterious killer who has been stalking the survivors. Before he dies, Dan confesses to Amy that while he initially considered using her for her money, he ultimately fell in love with her and wanted to become a better man. His realization comes too late. With emotions running high, suspicion turns inward again. Kevin becomes convinced that Sonia and Zach are working together, especially after learning she freed him. He openly questions her loyalty to Zach, escalating the standoff among the remaining survivors. Just then, they hear a search plane flying overhead, briefly reignite hope, but that hope fades when they realize the aircraft is turning back to refuel. Zach urges them to stop turning on each other and move toward higher ground, arguing that being visible gives them a better chance of rescue than continuing the blame game. Meanwhile, rescuers do have coordinates from the transmitter, but the thick cloud cover keeps helicopters from spotting the survivors, raising the stakes on both sides as time continues to run out. The group agrees that to make themselves easier to spot, they need to head toward the transmitter and create smoke signals for any aircraft searching overhead. Before they move out, Sonia orders Kevin to unload the rifle and throw the bullets into the pond, convinced that the killer must be either Kevin or Zach. Kevin pushes back, turning the accusation on Sonia and questioning whether she could be the killer. Sonia defends himself, pointing out that if she truly were, she's holding a loaded gun and could have already killed them both. Still, Kevin remains uneasy. He argues that the path ahead is narrow and dangerous, and fears that walking together gives someone the perfect opportunity to take him out. For that reason, he insists on going alone. Sonia considers forcing him to stay, but ultimately can't bring herself to hurt anyone. Reluctantly, they separate and head off in different directions. On their way to the transmitter, Zach finally comes clean about who he really is.
Admits he's been a DEA agent for the past 12 years and explains that he deliberately chose this flight because Arrow Alex had come under the DEA's radar. When investigators reviewed the passenger list and saw Sonia's prior drug conviction, they suspected something bigger was going on. The revelation leaves Sonia feeling used and betrayed, especially when Zach also admits that he's married with a daughter, the complete opposite of the cover story he's been selling her. Zach then shares his growing suspicion that Kevin is the real killer. Kevin's story about selling medical equipment in Guatemala and losing his license never fully added up, and Zach believes Kevin manipulated events to shift suspicion onto him, especially after Sonia discovered the phone, bullets, and gun in Zach's possession. What still doesn't make sense is motive. If Octavia was the only one who knew about the drugs, why kill the passengers at all? The killer could have easily blended in and waited. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted by a loud gunshot. Racing back, they discover Kevin gravely wounded, shot and left face down near a pond with his face been eaten off. The discovery confirms their worst fear. The killer is still out there. Sonia recalls moments Amy thought she saw someone watching them, episodes they had dismissed as stress or hallucinations. Now it becomes clear that an unknown person may have been stalking the group all along, someone who possibly slipped onto the plane unnoticed after the crash and began killing them one by one. With night falling and danger everywhere, Sonia and Zach decide to lock themselves inside the plane until morning. That night, the mysterious figure retrieves the satellite phone and makes a call, where Cora informs them that Mexican authorities are searching the area using a single aircraft and that they'll be waiting for them to arrive. By morning, Sonia and Zach head toward higher ground, hoping to reach the transmitter. Thick clouds still blanket the hilltop. With Zach's injured toe, Sonia is forced to go ahead alone to gather wood for a signal fire alone. As they speak through the mist, Sonia is suddenly struck from behind and knocked unconscious. The attacker then turns on Zach, shooting him and leaving him to fall from the ridge. Returning to Sonia, the figure finally reveals their identity, and from Sonia's expression, it's clear she recognizes them just moments before being killed. And that brings us to the end of episode 5. With the killer finally revealing themselves and the last survivors silenced, the mystery only deepens. What really happened on that plane? And how far does the conspiracy go? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next recap. Drop your theories in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode of Sandy's Timeline.